Are we alone in the universe? It's got to be one of the biggest questions we can possibly ask. And one of the most exciting places to look for an answer isn't some distant star system, but a moon right here in our own solar system. So today, let's dive into the hunt for life on Europa. Okay, so I want you to think of Europa as a kind of cosmic crime scene. The surface is this shell of ice, cracked and frozen, literally miles thick. But underneath all that ice, scientists are almost certain there's a saltwater ocean. And get this, it's probably bigger than all of Earth's oceans combined. It's warmed not by the sun, which is way too far away, but by the constant gravitational tug-of-war with Jupiter. That constant stretching and squeezing could be creating hydrothermal vents on its seafloor. So we've got water, and we have a potential energy source. The real question is, could something actually be living in it? But hold on. Before we go sending a billion-dollar probe all the way out there, we kind of have to agree on what it is we're looking for. I mean, what does alive even mean, really? It seems pretty obvious at first, right? A rock is not alive, a puppy is. But that line between a living thing and, say, just a really complex chemical reaction, well, it can get surprisingly blurry. To show you just how blurry, let's play detective and look at a few puzzling cases that challenge our very definition of life. So, on the left, you've got a virus. It has genetic code, and it definitely makes copies of itself. But it can only do that by hijacking a living cell. On its own, it's just inert. It can't do anything. And on the right, a candle flame. It grows, it needs fuel to survive, it even seems to react to its environment. But is it alive? Now for our next couple of puzzles. Over on the left, we've got seeds. They can just sit there totally dormant for thousands of years with zero signs of life, and then suddenly sprout. And on the right, you're looking at a tardigrade. We call them water bears. You can dehydrate it, freeze it solid, even throw it into the vacuum of space, and it just curls up into this seemingly lifeless little speck, only to spring back to life when conditions get better. So how in the world do we solve these riddles? Well, biologists have come up with a sort of checklist. To be officially considered alive, something generally has to tick all of these boxes. It needs to be made of cells, have DNA, use energy, grow, reproduce. You get the idea. This is basically our toolkit for this investigation. All right, let's apply our checklist. The virus, it isn't made of cells and it can't use energy by itself, so it's out. The flame, no cells, no DNA, no way to keep itself stable. So the verdict is in, not alive. They're just really fascinating mimics. But what about the seeds in the tardigrade? They tick all the boxes. They have cells, DNA, all the machinery for life is there. It's like they've just hit the pause button. And this idea of dormancy is so important. It proves that life can just wait. It can survive insane conditions until things improve. And that idea has massive implications for a place like Europa. So, knowing that life can be incredibly tough and patient, let's go looking for more clues, right here on Earth. Let's take a tour of some of the most extreme places where life has, against all odds, found a way. These organisms are called extremophiles, and they are our best guess for what might be hiding in that European ocean. First stop, Yellowstone's Grand Prismatic Spring. You see all those brilliant wild colors? That's not minerals or stained rock. That is life. Those are huge mats of microbes called thermophiles, or heat lovers, that have evolved to live in water that is literally boiling hot. Next up, the Great Salt Lake. And again, that punkish color, that's not some trick of the light. It's a living thing. It comes from halophiles, salt lovers. They live in water so incredibly salty, it would suck the moisture out of almost any other organism. They've just evolved these tiny pumps in their cells to manage it. How about this? Life in pure acid. This is the Rio Tinto in Spain, and its water has a pH similar to battery acid. It would dissolve your skin. And yet, acidophiles love it here. They have these specialized, tough-as-nails cell membranes that protect their insides from the hostile world outside. But this might be the most important clue of all for our case. These are endoliths, which means inside rock. They live miles underground in total darkness, with almost no nutrients. They get their energy by literally eating minerals. And this proves the most crucial point. Life doesn't need sunlight. And I mean, that discovery completely changed everything in the search for life beyond Earth. For decades, we just assumed that life anywhere would have to depend on the energy from a star. Turns out, that's not the only game in town. So, on the surface of the Earth, most life runs on photosynthesis, right? Turning sunlight into food. But in the deep, dark places of the world, life uses a totally different playbook: chemosynthesis. It pulls energy straight from chemical reactions with zero help from the sun. This one discovery just blew the doors wide open on where life could possibly exist. Let's just break that down real quick. Look at the inputs. Photosynthesis needs sunlight. Simple. But chemosynthesis can use a chemical like hydrogen sulfide. You know, that rotten egg smell? That stuff is food for some microbes. They combine it with CO2 and create glucose, the same basic fuel. Totally different recipe, but you end up with the same result: energy for life. And this right here is the ultimate proof: a hydrothermal vent deep on our own ocean floor. We're talking total darkness and pressure that would instantly crush a submarine. And yet, it's a bustling ecosystem. You've got tube worms, crabs, shrimp, all of it powered by bacteria that eat the chemicals spewing out from inside the Earth. So let's gather up all of our clues: our new, more flexible definition of life, the sheer toughness of these extremophiles, and this incredible discovery of life without the sun. Let's assemble our plan of attack for our prime suspect, Europa. Okay, here's our blueprint. First, we follow the energy. Forget sunlight. We look for hot spots of chemical energy, just like those hydrothermal vents. That's target number one. Second, we have to think small. We're not looking for complex creatures. We are looking for microbes. And third, we search for their biosignatures, the chemical fingerprints left behind that tell us life is at work. So, what have we learned through all this? Our whole perspective on where life could be has shifted. The habitable zone isn't just about being a certain distance from a star anymore. It could be an icy moon with a hidden ocean, as long as it has a hot core. The sun is just optional. Life just needs water, some chemicals, and an energy source. Which leaves us with one final huge question. We have absolute proof that complex ecosystems can be built from scratch, using only chemical energy in the crushing blackness of our own deep sea. So the question is no longer, could it happen there? The real question is, why wouldn't it be happening right now under all that ice on Europa?